Welcome to the Healers Café, the #1 show for medical practitioners and holistic healers to have heart to heart conversations about their day to day lives while sharing their expertise for improving your health and wellness. So, welcome to the Healers Cafe. And today I have with me Teresa Ford. Now, she practices emotional healing and breaking trauma pattern cycles through autonomic nervous system regulation. And um, and I love this. She calls herself an accidentalpreneur, a transformational empowerment coach for women. She's also a mother of 5 grown children, a stepmom to 3 grown bonus kids, and grandma to 15 grandchildren. Wow. I think I will leave it at that and just really welcome you to our show and well, let's explore a little bit what it is you do and then I think I have a little plan for us.
Ah, thank you, Manon. I'm excited about this. This is, helping people understand how they work and the experiences that they have, and how it all falls into line into helping them wake up to their true purpose, which is the healing, right? Finding more light in their life. I just never get tired of talking about it.
No, no, it's true. It's like it is the one of the most exciting things I think, to have people kind of get their own aha moments where
Yes.
everything becomes possible, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so what would you say um what stands out about your practice? I think maybe you want to describe a little bit. I was going to have you actually um, do a mini session with my partner because he's suffering in tremendous pain.
Mm,
And if you're comfortable with that, then people could actually see the work, how
yeah.
it works. At least, but is there any context that you would want to set up first a little bit so people understand what it is you're doing,
Yeah.
what your expectations are, how
Yeah.
this works?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, from the very beginning of my life, I was born to the perfect parents to figure out what not to do in my life
Okay.
because they were emotionally unavailable. My mom described herself as a 3-year-old sucking on a potato because she was born in the Great Depression, right? So they didn't have much. The family was codependent. My grandfather was an alcoholic. My grandmother feigned ill so that she could keep herself safe from her husband. And no one was there to nurture the children.
Right.
So that was handed down to us, that was the mentality and the energy for which my mom was trying to raise a second family. She had 2 and then remarried and had us 3. And her own misperceptions of her worth were projected onto me as a girl, a female.
Mhm,
And so when you have emotionally immature parents
mhm, mhm.
and they're unavailable to nurture you, we perceive an awful lot that isn't true as
Right.
children. And those little pieces of us get fragmented and stunted in their development and left in the past.
Yeah.
But that's a culmination of the handbook that we take out into our life with us.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
this handbook is not full of truth, it's just full of um, stories that we developed in a state of dysregulation in our nervous
Right.
system. Our nervous system was really rattled, and we were doing all kinds of things to survive. We were fawning, I'll be whatever you need me to be so that
Yeah.
I don't get in trouble. We were freezing, like, whoa, I don't have any plan for what my mom's throwing at me right now in the emotional chaos. Or fight or flight is like, am I going to over defend myself or am I going to run away? And that was the whole premise of living and surviving my childhood. So when
Mhm.
I got out in the world, my handbook, or the subconscious story that was conditioned upon me to believe, was I was going to try really hard all the time to be loved, but it would never be enough. And
Right.
that is that is the story that I can point to throughout my whole life,
Yeah.
as my trauma following me around, until I actually had these moments, and then they were just moments in my life that I was able to say, wait a minute, I have one shot at being a mother. And I have an opportunity to break that pattern or continue the pattern of codependency and childhood trauma.
Mhm.
And then when I didn't mean to get a career, but I was pushed out of the nest in '08 to go get a job after not having a job for 15 years, and I had to fake a resume and go get a job. My nervous system was shattered. Like, I was not in a good space. So that was
Yeah.
the accidentalpreneur part. Right.
Right.
And then that just opened up all kinds of doors. Now, what I didn't know is that you could actually regulate your nervous system and have a much better experience being forced into something that you didn't know you were going to have to do.
Mm.
And there's a much easier path to face the uncertainty of your future, right? But
Yeah.
all my life experiences have culminated into this place of actually healing my childhood wounds and reparenting the inner child here. And that is the experience that I take into helping others remove trapped emotions and energetically shift the patterns of their childhood wounding, which can actually be from generations ago, that
Yeah.
just got handed down through the DNA.
Right.
It's just been the only energy that has followed you all the way through, right? So
Yeah.
and then our bodies are telling us all the time with dis-ease, not disease. It may not manifest as disease, but dis-ease, a pain here, a little problem there. And that dis-ease in the body turns into disease because those are the places in our body that hold darkness, right?
Right.
It's the absence of light of
Yeah.
which we're made.
Yeah. Yeah. Well put. Yeah, I was thinking too, as I was hearing you speak about all this sort of this baggage that we're holding
Yeah.
from the past, I think too that there's often a big misconception that it has to be fixed, or that it
Mm,
was wrong, or
mm,
that it needs to be changed, hence the endless therapy kind of, uh,
yeah.
that I think was much more popular before than now. I think much of this has been updated, upgrade in understanding of healing.
Yeah.
But it's that, we acted how we needed to. So we did the right thing then,
Yeah.
but it's just not appropriate right now, and then it's much
Right.
easier to let it go, rather than think that we're broken and we have to be fixed. I think
Right. Right.
that's,
But
when you
there
were saying,
and there is a beautiful way of looking at this, in that your body, your nervous system, right? It starts with a thought, it triggers the nervous system, and that sends out all these neurotransmitters in our body
mm,
telling us if this is a safe situation or not. And whatever we're going through right now may have a flavoring, a sense, or a hint of something that wasn't safe when we were children and we
right.
weren't able to process the adult world we were trying to navigate because
Mhm.
we didn't have anyone to nurture us and help us through the big emotions we were having. And so we get activated now about what wasn't safe then, but learning to teach yourself that you are safe.
Mhm.
Nobody can actually
Right.
impose their will on you without your permission. And so, even things like taking offense at someone's intonation,
Mhm.
it's a sense of our from our childhood that we're
Trigger.
making
Mhm.
unsafe now, right?
Correct,
And
yeah.
in that moment, we can actually say, "Ooh, I feel that yucky gut soup." That's what I call it. Yucky gut soup. It's more than one negative emotion all in a little recipe in your body. And we can say, "Okay, but this is not then."
Right.
Right? And
Yeah.
and we can soothe that now, but it's not consciously understood, right?
Yes.
Because it's
Mhm.
not really talk therapy anymore. It's felt sense in the body, and our body
Exactly.
is trying to get our attention.
Right, right, exactly, yeah, no, it's a different way of, yeah, of coming to terms, but it's with the body. It's
Yeah.
sort of like now, when they talk about manifestation, it's not the vision, it's really the feeling, right? So
Yes.
I think there is overall a shift in how we see healing.
Yeah.
So why, after reading a little bit about your past and all that, I was very well, it's very spontaneous as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll give you a little bit about my partner. Do you want to come? Maybe, yeah. And then I'll have him, or you just talk to him, but just so that people know. So in December, he developed um, shingles,
Mm,
and it was very short. It was just on the neck. We didn't even know what it
yeah.
was to start with, and it was done in 5 days.
Mm,
I prescribed a homeopathic remedy because it was obvious what it was, and then it seemed to be okay for a short while, and then it developed into this intense neuralgia.
mm,
And we don't do too well with, pharmaceuticals, though we feel
yeah.
like he actually took one for a little while with zero effect, just negative
Mm,
impact. Um,
mm,
but then remedies only lasted for a short time, completely different than my experience.
mm,
And we did a little bit of like, what could this be else? Because there's not an obvious emotion that, it's quite hidden. Now there is a bit of a history. So at one point, the ear, he was set aflame in England by his brother while they were playing, but the brother was like 16, so it's kind of a dangerous game to play with your brother 10 years younger. But anyway, he was hospitalized and all that, and so it's the same year, it could be all of this that came up as a trauma. So I looked at it like, okay, well, that could be the trauma that is coming up for healing now, right? Because I mean, the body creates the symptoms for
mhm,
us to pay attention to. Anyway, we paid attention to that. That was 2 months ago. We're on month 5, and he's taking a turn for the worse. And everyone who knows me knows that I have been seeking everything and everything to try and figure out
mhm.
how to help him. So I'll have you maybe come in, Tony,
Sure.
and then Teresa, if you could demonstrate through the work you do and the intuition, everything that
Yeah.
how we normally function as
Yeah.
therapists, and then people will get a sense of the work you do. And also just want to let people know that you also are available to see people online.
Yeah.
So um, we'll give all the contacts after. Do you want to come in? I'm going to move out of the picture here.
Shall I sit there?
It may be here. I'm just going to move the chair. And there you go.
Hi.
Hi, Tony.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask that.
That's a
Terrible
loaded
work.
question. Mm. So, so tell me a little bit in your childhood, which parent did you have to work the hardest at getting their approval or their validation?
Ah, off the hat, I'd probably say my dad, really, more than my mum.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
never felt.
And what did you have to become for your dad to notice you and maybe give you some positive feedback?
I've got to be honest, I feel like I had a really blessed childhood. And,
Mm,
one thing I feel with my parents, that they never pushed me at all. Like, it
mm,
was do what you want to do. Maybe to the extreme that it was like I could have done with a bit more encouragement. But no, I've been looking at this, and really I feel like I've had a very blessed childhood. I don't feel animosity or
You know
that.
what's funny about that is that when we're that blessed,
Mm,
we will find a way to harbor ill will towards ourselves, such
mm,
as guilt. Like, what did I do to deserve this great life?
mm,
Right? We will find a way to tap into the shadow, right? So there's the shadow is our doubt and our fear, And then our job is to become the alchemist and turn that doubt and fear into light and love.
Mm.
You know, when you came into the world, you were nothing but light and love. You took your first breath and everybody cheered because you were alive. And that is where our value lies. We don't have to do more or less than just breathe. And that's what makes us valuable.
Mm.
But when you're looking at maybe the contrast of everybody else around you, so and so struggled, so and so didn't have a good relationship, so and so had hardships, you know, somebody got ill and they didn't deserve such hardships as that. And I'm just going to let you tell me,
Yeah.
you may have been like, do you consider yourself an empath?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Very emotionally intelligent?
I never used to till I was with Manon, but now I think I probably am. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so when you're an empath like that, you might have seen all these hardships around you. And there's nobody more savior like than a child. And what they do is, I see your suffering and I don't want you to suffer, so I will suffer in your behalf. Even
Mm.
though we can't really take on the actual situation that they are experiencing, we do internalize it. And
Mm.
then we take that suffering on, and then it doesn't come out until there is a point in our lives where it manifests, because your body's like, I don't want to hold on to all this suffering anymore. So you may not have been given parents who caused your suffering, right? But you may have been around people in the family, and it could have been one of your parents actually
Yeah.
that was suffering. So was that the case with you?
Um, Not so much, but just what you're saying, I think like recently over the last 3 years, I've been really triggered. You know, I've certainly been triggered with this child trafficking.
Mm.
Sometimes uh, like I'm going through this pain and I'm like, oh, well, it could be worse. You know, I could be in some doom under the ground being tortured, you know, and that's the way I kind of compensate for it. But I
Mhm.
think there's some discrepancy there, you know, that I'm possibly holding on to something. And, you know,
Yeah.
I'm very visual as well. And
Mhm.
yeah, and I'm very angry at what's been hearing all this.
Mm.
I just find it so hard to actually accept, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty damn angry as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's unacceptable and it makes you angry. And your
Yeah.
body is manifesting that. This is
Mm,
unacceptable. And I am so angry about it. But as an empath, there's a high likelihood that you don't allow yourself to feel and express the anger on the level it needs to come out of your body, right? So there's suffering that is also being retained, that if you suffer, maybe these children won't suffer as badly. Now
yeah.
tell me how that sits with you.
Yeah, there's a possibility. I think there's definitely a connection with that. I think, yeah, like I said, I've always been like, oh, well, there's somebody worse off than you, or you can deal with that. And it's like, it could be worse, you know. So
Mhm.
it, I'm sure there's a better way of dealing with it, but it's my kind of way of dealing with it. And then when I think of how bad it is for other people, you know, that doesn't make me feel any better either. It's like, oh God,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So we kind of have to find balance there in the mind, right? The brain is saying, I can't hardly stand that these people are suffering, and I don't understand the the suffering of these little children that deserve love and nurturing,
mm,
right? And the imbalance is that you can do anything about it, holding on to the emotions. But that is the savior complex, right? That is your attempt at doing something about it in the world.
yeah.
So
Mm.
we have to do something with it. So tell me a little bit about your belief systems. Like, do you what are your spiritual beliefs?
Um, like on the human level, I like for me very strongly is I feel there needs to be justice here, you
Okay.
know, and it's not revenge, it's justice.
Mm,
And I feel that very strongly, you know,
mhm.
it's, yeah, sure, I'd go out and like to get these perpetrators, but it's not that, hey, this has got to be out, people. you know, the truth and justice are very strong for me. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, sorry, I forget what your question was exactly, but
Well, your spiritual beliefs, like, do you believe in God or like in the universe? I want to be able to use your language.
oh yeah, sure. I've got very strong beliefs in not necessarily the word God because I feel that's been
Mhm.
overused, but certainly
Mhm.
there's a whole bigger picture here, and I feel it energetically. And it's, you know, you just look at a plant and it grows, it dies. Next year it comes up. I mean, it's, you know, it doesn't take a lot of common sense to see that
Right.
we're way bigger than you know, just this human body, and the potential
Yes.
is huge.
Yes. And so we become an energetic match. So we are energy. That's what helps plants grow. And that's the cycle of life. And, breath is into the body. And we're here until we're not. And then our spirit leaves the body. And that's like, there's a cycle going on there.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. No, I've got
So,
carry on. Really, this. Yeah.
so energetically, we want to do something about the pain we see in the world. And a passive way of doing our part is holding on to the pain and the suffering within ourselves instead of giving it back to the universe that knows all, that can handle what to do with this, because we actually don't know what to do with it.
What would your life be like if you were pain-free? If you were one of the millions who suffer from chronic pain, the thought of just one day without it may seem impossible. This is often because conventional medicine tends to fall short in the treatment of pain, opting to prescribe pills or recommend surgery rather than getting to the root cause of the problem. But if you are suffering with emotional or physical pain, there is hope. Join the founder and CEO of Bowen College, Manon Bolliger, live online for your body-mind reboot. Learn how to listen to your symptoms and get to the root cause of your pain. Plus, be trained in basic Bowen therapy moves so that you can reboot your body for optimal health. You don't have to live in pain. You can heal. Stop the pain pill cycle by visiting www.yourbodymindreboot.com to learn more and to register.
We can't control other people, and we all have our free agency, right? And the way we use our free agency, it can be for good or for evil, right? And so there's people out there doing bad things to sweet little innocent people. But if we think that we are doing something productive
Mm.
by internalizing the pain, hoping that it won't affect other people as greatly, we're actually doing the exact opposite of our intention to do something about it. Because as long as you're sick, you can't do much,
No.
right?
Is
And
it,
so,
is it all unconscious, obviously, or is it?
yes, 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 because you didn't consciously say, well, I'm going to become sick so that these people, don't suffer. Subconsciously, your sweet and innocent spirit recognized the pain of other sweet and innocent spirits. And so you're just absorbing that pain and energy subconsciously, not even realizing what a sponge you are,
Mm.
right? And so when you take that beautiful quality of who you are and you do a visual imagery, right? You're a visual person. And if you can take the imagery and you just pull the pain out and
Mm.
you put it in a beautiful silk cloth, just picture taking this big, ugly ball of pain out of your body and placing it in this beautiful silk cloth and wrapping it up. And that is your offering by giving the pain away, because you are of no use to anybody when you're in pain, right? Your power is not to be in pain. Your power is to actually put more light into the world. That's where your power lies.
Mm.
So if you can give this bundle of yuck, the yucky gut soup is now bundled up beautifully, and you can give it to the universe. You can
Glad.
give it to the power that creates,
Mm,
and give it back. It's like, this is not mine, and I'm so sorry that I kept it for this long, that it actually manifested in pain and suffering, that I became the epitome of what I imagine other people are experiencing. If I can just give that back, it's not mine.
Do you think the universe wants it, or what?
The universe knows what to do with it. It's smarter than we are. Like, we don't know how to like create humans. We don't know how to do that. It just happens. So we have to give it back to the universe that is much smarter than us. So it's not a matter of whether the universe wants it. The universe is just love. It's the essence of love. And that love is what creates. Right? And so the universe created you. You're just a bundle of love. But if we take this pain and put it inside of us, not intentionally, but it just happened. And here's how this works: is you were light and love when you were born, but we take the pain of the world and we start putting it in, it detracts from the light. And now we have a lot of darkness, and that darkness takes up space in our body, and it'll manifest like there's 30 trapped emotions associated with the skin. So shingles is manifested on the skin. It's a nervous system issue, but it's manifested on the skin. And in the skin, there's 30 possible trapped emotions associated with that. And so to clear the skin, you've got to let go of at least, one of those 30 possible trapped emotions. So as you're giving these trapped emotions back, it's like, I'm sorry, they're not mine. Have you ever heard of the Hawaiian prayer, Ho'oponopono?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Thank you.
yeah.
I like to bookend it because the highest vibrational words in the human language are thank you, I love you.
Yeah.
So when you are talking to yourself, that inner self that has the capacity to take on other people's pain for them, you talk to that inner child. It's the child that did this. Your inner child is the sweetest, most compassionate person. And he needs to be reminded, thank you for holding this, but it's not yours. I love you, because that is the essence from which you were created. And then you add in, I'm sorry, because I didn't mean for you to carry this burden. It's not yours. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
Because the biggest sin of all is to carry around darkness in us, because it disallows us from putting light into the world. Because if we're sick, we're not doing anything in the light world. We're just on the couch feeling crappy. Right. And then I like to bookend it with thank you, I love you. So thank you, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. And you do this to every cell. If you can picture, like if you're looking through a microscope and you can picture your DNA and everything that makes up your chromosomes and the cellular structure in your body, that's where it's being held. It's manifested through your ear. It's manifested through your skin. It's manifesting through your nervous system. But it started on the cellular level of, I want to help humanity, and I feel helpless to change what's going on. And so your work is to let it go. It's not yours to carry. It doesn't mean it's not yours to involve yourself and do something about it. Do fundraisers or start an organization or the things that are in you to do, but you can't do it until you start feeling better.
No.
Right. And so you may have had thoughts, and I'm just going to put this out there and you can tell me if it's true. You may have had thoughts of starting an organization or doing something about the trafficking, and you put it off and you put it off and you didn't start it and you delayed. And then next thing you know, you're sick. Anything like that happen?
Well, I'm more like, the only way I'd help is by buying a gun and going out there and shooting somebody.
And clearly that's not going to work.
No, I know, but
your freedom.
that's more my process, actually. Yeah, sure, I've got quite a bit of anger over it as well, and and yeah, I feel a little bit powerless,
Yes.
powerless
Yeah.
at the thing.
Mhm. And powerlessness is a trapped emotion. Yeah. I see you breathing through the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Powerlessness is a trapped emotion and it's held in the body. So
Mm.
for you to not feel powerless, you need to find constructive ways to put that anger and that the magnitude of which you feel that you're here to help these children. You're here to help those who suffer, but you must put it in a constructive way because that is how you put light into the collective of us all. But
Rather than
being
getting
angry, what's that?
rather than getting a rifle, you mean, or something, probably. It's more constructive, what you're saying, yeah.
Yes, because you're here to be constructive.
Mm.
That is why you have a soft and tender heart. That is why you feel such great compassion and empathy, is because you're here to put light into the world, to be constructive, to open up ways in which this human trafficking can be contained and diminished, and that it's not affecting other children. So your creativity has been stifled, your ability to think outside the box in bigger ways, because getting a gun is not the option. It really isn't. It's not who you are. You're not a destructive person.
Not overly, no. Really.
No. But it is the desire to help, and feeling helpless will cause us to go down the rabbit hole of anger and, finding ways to end it right now. But again, that's the nervous system, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't actually need help right this second, but if you're tapping and you're helping that inner child calm down and feel safe in this moment, then you will actually open up opportunities for your creativity to come up with constructive ways to start a movement or an organization, or come up with a safety device or something to help children and help parents keep their children safe. Right? And that will change the world. Like,
Yeah.
your ability to move the world is limitless when you're healthy. But anger is not going to help you get there.
No. Okay. Great. No, I do really appreciate that. And what was the big thing that stuck with me? Something. Oh, quite a bit, yeah. I don't really think of myself as a sort of overly compassionate person, but I think I am, actually, or I do.
You absolutely are.
Yeah. So, I feel like almost embarrassed about it. It's, I come from quite a rough background in a different area. And if my friends were looking at their video, they'd be going, the guy's lost. He's gone into his emotions.
He's soft. What's the matter with him? Actually, but again, I mean, we talked in the beginning about your conditioning, right? That your conditioning was, this is how you are a man in the world, or your conditioning was, we don't show our emotions, or whatever your conditioning was. It went against your true nature to accept all that you are. And all that you are is a very compassionate, kind, and loving human being, because that's how you showed up in the world, was light and love. And you took your first breath and everybody cheered and you smiled, and then everybody else smiled back at you, and you were just cute as could be. And to learn how to accept that embodying your true energies is to have your rough and tumble side that you really are familiar with, and embody the other half of you, which is in all of us, which is light and love. And to have that compassion, it doesn't make us soft. It actually is our greatest strength. Yeah. And to do something about that, the creativity in order to help other people, that takes a lot of courage. So there's strength and there's courage in that empathic and compassionate side of you, that when you embrace that and you're like, it's me, folks, it has been all along, I'm just now figuring it out, and that is okay. But it is you that needs to embrace it. And it doesn't matter what other people think of you. It actually matters what you think of you.
Okay, I don't know where to go with that, so I'm going to sit with that or lie with it. So, lie
It
down.
takes time to evolve, right? But
Yeah.
this illness, this pain has been your best friend, because you would not even be having this conversation to turn this around. Like, we're trying to turn the puzzle and do a Rubik's Cube thing, and change the way we've thought about what it means to be a man in the world, and what it means to be a humanitarian in the world, and what it means to ease the suffering in a compassionate but constructive way.
Mm.
Yeah, you're just turning that Rubik's Cube until you get all the colors on the same side, and then you'll be in alignment. That alignment is, you feel the relief of the struggle that you have felt about what's happening in the world. Relief is the sign that you are in alignment with the light and love you are.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, I just had two, like, one thing is I've been trying to deal with this is, one, I've done something wrong, and there's some retribution. And the other thing is that there's some big learning curve here, they're quite different, but they're both 50-50, I would say,
Yes,
I think I'd rather
absolutely.
swing to the learning curve, really.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's waking you up to your potential to actually impact the world.
Mm.
And it is the legacy you leave. This is your path, and it can't happen sooner than it's happening. So right now is the perfect time for it to happen, because you're in a place of listening. You're in a place of, I'll do anything to get rid of the pain,
Yeah.
which nothing promotes change faster than wanting to get out of the pain. And the pain is this empathy that you carry for everybody else. So get rid of that,
And
let
then move.
yourself be healthy, and then it's time to get busy being constructive.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, no, I think that was very insightful too. And I was going to say too, when you were saying the rubric cube, in the description of the pain, he has it as twisting and stabbing.
Yeah.
Are both very graphic, and they're also typical of fascial pain, right? Because when people describe pain, they do so differently.
Yeah.
If it's a fascial pain, which is always linked to an emotional component.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I found that
that is where the trapped emotions lie, or is in the fascia.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, so and I think I like the way that you do the I could never pronounce it, the Hawaiian hono.
Yeah, I know. Ho'oponopono.
We've been doing it to each other, in the sense of what is, because he's the kind of person, if I injure my knee, and then I'm like, okay, where's the pain? Oh, he's got it. He's like, he can take it literally away.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So talk about an empath anyway.
Yes. He
So
doesn't even know the half of his gift.
I know.
It's coming.
I know exactly. No, so and it was quite funny that so we've been doing this and going, I'm interconnected to this journey. So it's also saying, I'm sorry. Please forgive me, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a dance in any relationship in which healing is, I always say healing is easy, but the circumstances can be complex.
Yes. Yeah. Because there's an energetic exchange. And oftentimes when we meet someone, we have a matching energy. That could be a positive energy, or it could be a negative energy, or a little of both, right?
Sure.
And our partners are our greatest teachers.
Yes, always.
Yeah. So it's just so fascinating to just kind of pull back the curtain and take a look at what energies you share, and what energies you each have that supports one another too. But yeah, he has he has many gifts, and you're getting to be a witness to
Mhm.
his gifts coming to life. And that's what
Yeah,
pain does. It puts us on our backs, so we have to pay attention.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no. So in your in the way that you would do therapy, so we've witnessed it, and thank you very much for
Yeah, you're
demonstrating
welcome.
it. So there's like bringing to reminding the person, bringing to consciousness what might be, what emotion might be harboring, sort of explaining the context. But
Mhm.
then the work itself is, I mean, or is the consciousness the thing alone? Or,
No, because it's not talk therapy, right? We can understand it logically,
right,
but if there's something in our subconscious awareness, it's held in the body, and we may not understand, we don't have a memory of it, or we don't know where
right.
it attached itself to us, but we kept it because we
Yeah.
thought we would need to hold on to it for some reason.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then the work that you would, let's say, recommend your clients after this, I mean, I guess to first of all experience what you both just did here, to
Mhm.
re-experience it, to talk to every cell, to like what you explained. Um,
Um, Yeah.
mhm,
Well, I was just going to say that when it's one-on-one with my clients, I do energetic testing. So I do muscle
okay,
testing
right.
to get the right emotions, and then we look at the actual, we look at the story behind it. We look at our perceptions about it,
Yes. Yeah.
anything that we've recollected, but we also just let the body tell us, because the body knows the
Mhm,
problem. We know
right.
it knows why we're holding on to the illness or the disease or the dysfunction.
Mhm, mhm.
And then we can muscle test for the exact trapped emotions in the location or in the symptoms of what we're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. Well, anyway, that was, I hope people got something out of that. I certainly did.
Good.
Just witnessing, how how this happens and what the interaction is, and really how simple, it is, right? Like, I'm not saying to necessarily find the emotion is simple, but the process of healing, once you're committed to it,
Mhm.
it's a doable process. It's
It
not.
it very much is. It is.
I
And
think
it is
that's
really, it is our greatest work, because when you remove darkness from the body, those trapped emotions or yucky feelings or
yeah,
whatever we want to call them, it frees us. And
exactly.
our soul craves freedom. We want to be
Yeah.
free to do what we're here to do, and we can't do it if we're ill.
Exactly. So, Teresa, thank you so much. And where can people find you? We'll put, that with the show notes, but is there a website, or how do people get to work with you?
Yeah. My website is teresaford.life. So Teresa, no H.
Okay.
And or they can email me, teresafordcoaching@gmail, or I'm on Instagram at teresaford.coaching.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom and your time with us, and we'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Manon.
Okay. Thank you for joining us at the Healers Café. If you haven't already done so, please like, comment, and subscribe with notifications on, as I post a new podcast every Wednesday with tons of useful information and tips for natural healing that you won't want to miss.